Maybe this will give you some hope today. Here's a sentence from my pastor's sermon, and it is exactly what I needed this morning to hear. And so maybe this is something that you need to hear as well. There is not a day or there's not a season in your life that God has not ordained. God is sovereign. I know that. I know you know that, but there are just some days that are really, really difficult, really hard, and sometimes that nagging anxiety or nagging worry that you try to put out of your mind, you try not to lose sleep over it, but I lost a lot of sleep last night, and I woke up this morning, being a Sunday morning, a Sabbath, knowing that I needed a little bit of extra encouragement, a few more God winks in my day today. So I wanted to just hop on and do a quick video and share with you. I'm going through the book of Psalms through a journal book right now. And today I happen to be in Psalm 51, which is one of my absolute favorite Psalms. Are you familiar with this Psalm of David? It's when the prophet Nathan came to him after David had committed adultery with Bathsheba. So he's not in a great place. Imagine he's going through really difficult days, hard season. And guess what? God ordained everything about that story with David. And the psalm opens up, I have written in my margin, a prayer for transformation. And David's crying out to the Lord, "Have mercy on me, God, according to your unfailing love." And David talks about how the Lord knows his transgressions. His sin is always before him. And against you only I have sinned, meaning the Lord. And there's some key phrases in this psalm that I love, that I cling to. And so this is what I needed when I woke up after an evening of not having very good sleep, tossing and turning, imagining worst case scenarios in my personal circumstances. And some of the key phrases I love is, let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones you have crushed rejoice. Sometimes I feel crushed and tired from this season of life. This is my favorite. Verse 10, create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Steadfast is my word of the year for 2023, and I really need that word in my life this year, because it was at the very beginning of 2023 when things started getting really hard again. And it's the middle of May now, and it's been hanging on for this long now. So I need to stay steadfast, and I have been steadfast at staying in God's word every day. I also love this verse 12. Restore to me the joy of your salvation and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. When you're going through a hard season, a difficult circumstance, you need someone to sustain you, and let that someone be the Lord. Pray to him. I pray, this morning I prayed, restore to me the joy of your salvation. Now, I always have joy. I always have joy deep down in my heart, but sometimes I just need to remind myself of that joy and who put that joy there, and pray that God grants us a willing spirit, and that we can be sustained by knowing all this, by spending time in his word. And then when we rely on the Lord, when we trust in the Lord, when we know that God has ordained our days, our seasons, when we know that God is sovereign over all things, then he gives us opportunities to share about these things, doesn't he? Verse 13 says, then I will teach transgressors your ways, and sinners will turn back to you. Isn't that amazing? Like, we can use our hard stories, our hard seasons for God's glory to point others to Jesus. I never in 50 years imagined that I would be speaking about Jesus to anybody, much less a ministry platform. So I hope that that gives you a little bit of encouragement today if you find that yourself in a day-to-day, in a hard season. Trust it was one of my very big words last year when I was going through a trial, significant trial in life. I trusted the outcome to God. I had to trust God, and it's God's job for the outcome in all of these circumstances, in all of these seasons of our lives. So if you are finding yourself in a difficult situation today, something that's making you feel hopeless, something that maybe made you cry in the shower this morning, so grateful to show up at church this morning and hear a good word from our message from Genesis chapter 12, where Abraham is told to go to a new land, and it just really fit really well with my time, my quiet time this morning in Psalm 51. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. And so I just pray that if your heart is feeling heavy today, you're carrying a lot of extra weight around, whatever that weight may be, physical, emotional, spiritual heaviness, run to the Word, open the book of Psalms, and check out Psalm 51. And let me know if that psalm does not encourage your heart, because I'm certain that it will. And if I can pray for you, let me know. Leave me a DM, and I will be certain to say a little prayer for you as well. And if you could pray for me through this difficult season, I know it feels awfully alone, but I would love to pray for you and would ask that you pray for me. That's it. Bye for now.